Hey everyone, Ben here and welcome back to iRacing for an absolutely manic session at Watkins Glen. This combination throws up carnage and chaos at the very best of times, but this race really was something else. We've hopped into the cockpit at the end of the formation lap here. I'm starting in P14. I didn't have a great qualifying and it's a very competitive field, and as we're waiting for the green lights, I'm really just focused on staying safe through this opening corner. Some other drivers behind at the very back of the pack opened up a bit of a gap and they have charged forward, making it 3 wide up ahead. I am on high alert here to not get caught out by any drivers coming together. Thankfully, everybody was relatively sensible through that opening corner. Yes, I've dropped back a few positions. I think I'm right towards the very back of the field. But the most important thing is I haven't picked up any damage whatsoever. And I've got a bit of a run here on Vanilla up ahead. He's the number 3 car, but he is also sat right at the back of this field, heading into the chicane for the first time. I'm hard on the brakes and I command the corner, make the apex, and I've got one of those positions back. No time to rest though. Christopher Weichsel up ahead has gone slightly wide through the long right-hander. That's going to give me a better exit to the corner. I'm actually going to switch to the inside and see if I can be late on the brakes again. And yes, we're side by side into the left-hander here. But am I going to get out of the corner in the lead? Well, it looks as if I am. I take a decision here to stick to the racing line, and that was a bit of a mistake. It's invited the dive bomb back from Weichsel there. He's going to recapture the position. I should have been a little bit sharper there in preempting that move. I am now going to just try and shape to the inside, but he's got more momentum out of the uphill hairpin, and I'm going to have to settle back in behind him and hopefully be able to get back on the front foot as we get towards the end of this lap. I really do want to try and make up some of those positions that I lost off the start in the first phase of this race and not fall out of the slipstream. But look at that, one driver up ahead into the barrier there, so that is another position back. Just going to show how sketchy these GT3 cars are on cold tyres and with cold brakes, and through some of those corners towards the end of the lap it's very easy to get out of shape. Weichsel was a bit out of shape through the final corner. That's allowed me to close in once again as we barrel towards T1 at the beginning of lap 2. I'm not going to challenge him directly into there. I wasn't close enough. As it turns out, I didn't need to, because he gets it completely wrong out on the curbing and he's into the barrier as well. It is fast, it is frantic here, and there is no let up yet as Vanilla is going to challenge me here from behind. You can see he's tucked right in my slipstream. I've got to be mindful of what choices he makes heading into this chicane. He's come to the inside. I am determined to try and hold my nerve and get into the corner first, and I'm able to do it. He thinks better of going side by side through there this early on in the race. On to lap 3 then, and I've managed to catch up to the pack up ahead, in particular Quentin Leroy, who has a bit of a moment on the curving. We've seen other drivers fall foul of that as well, and that is going to give me some big momentum as we climb the hill here. I might just be able to get alongside him and claim the space into the chicane. Let's find out if I'm able to do it. I come out of the slipstream maybe just a touch early, but I've still got a good amount of overspeed. I can command the corner from here. I'm down into the apex first, and he does not fight it too hard, and we continue our march forward. We're up into P13, and now we're on to lap 4, and I'm closing in on Eli up ahead in P12. We've both been disconnected just a little bit from the drivers further up the road, but I have been able to build a little bit of a gap to Leroy behind, a bit more than half a second. So at the moment my mindset is let's work together to try and get onto the back of the pack further ahead. I don't want to lose a lot of time fighting here as I'm tighter to the apex than Eli up ahead, even though I feel like I've got a bit more speed in the car at the moment. So I've got to pick my battles here quite carefully. I don't want to cost myself time and in the end get bogged down in a fight, which then stops me from making up further positions later in the race. And you can see we've got a very good exit there from the final corner. I am closing in on Eli as we begin lap 5 here, but not close enough to make a move, and in the end I don't really want to either. I want to get his slipstream and get quicker speeds down this big back straight on this lap. Both of us out of shape there on the exit of the corner. I pick up a 1x. I'm a little bit surprised he didn't get a bit of a slowdown penalty there. He was well wide onto the runoff area there. But speaking of drivers going off track, look at the pop-up camera. That's P9 driver Nuba, and he's going to have a big episode coming out of the chicane. We're going to come across him on the right hand side and he's creeping forward. That was nearly a huge accident for us. As it turns out, it was a big accident for drivers behind. Firstly, Leroy gets it wrong through the chicane as well, piles into the barrier, but an even bigger accident for Vanilla, who would keep his foot planted and go smash straight into the stricken Nuba. Wow, those were huge collisions. It's opened up a little bit of space behind me as we get onto lap 5, and I'm still piling the pressure on Eli up ahead. The question is, when will we be able to execute a pass here? Because I am definitely swarming all over the rear wing of Eli here, and he is struggling. You can see there he understeered out into the barrier. I haven't got space down the inside here towards the end of the lap. I'm going to have to try and prioritise a good exit onto the start-finish straight. Unfortunately for me, he gets a decent enough exit to hold me at bay. For now, we are around 0.4 seconds back. That's enough to get a slipstream. So now I'm going to just prioritise a good exit through T1 and see if I can't close in further as we climb the hill and get ready for the big braking zone into the chicane. Let's see how we get on then as we climb up the hill once more. Can I get alongside him in time to execute a pass? We're going to find out very soon. I'm going to just make sure that I stick in his slipstream for as long as possible here. We are closing in at a decent rate, but I don't think it's going to be enough, and it isn't enough. I'm going to have to settle in behind him. Up ahead, more action on track. We're following Givens, who's just going to get too close to the driver up ahead. He slid the car through the long right-hander. You can see the tyre smoke. There he is, getting back up to speed. Eli goes to the left. I'm going to duck to the right. We were momentarily 3 wide. Can I hold this move around the outside of the corner? Well, Givens is going to fight back. And yes, he's got that place back from me there, but I am all over his rear wing. I'm going to try and put pressure on into the right-hander. Has he carried too much speed? He's gone very wide through the middle part of the corner. He rejoins the track. We just avoid contact, and I've managed to get through safely. Wow, what a bit of action there on lap 6. You can see me there swooping around the outside. To his credit, Givens tries to retake the position, to hold the position I should say. He's able to do it initially, but he then pushes too hard through the uphill right-hander, and in actual fact he makes contact with the barrier. I'm a little bit lucky that he didn't then swing back onto the racing line. He's flashing his lights. I'm not sure why. He's the one who's made 2 critical errors. It's given me the position, and as we get back onto the live action there on lap 7, I've once again closed in on Eli as we come through the final corner and get ready for the braking zone into T1 once again. I really do now have to press home this advantage. I am running out of time here to get through and then start claiming more positions into the top 10, but you can see up ahead we have closed in on 2 more drivers up the track, so this could get very complicated indeed, heading up the hill and onto the long back straight. John, one of the drivers there in the Mustang, he was leading this race. He's just disappeared and then reappeared back on track. He's carrying damage, so I'm able to squeeze past him there on the inside. That's another position gained, and now through the chicane we are carrying way more speed again than Eli up ahead, but there's just no room to try and get past. In that instance, we're going to have to be patient, so we fast forward a little bit later on the same lap, and again we are pushing to try and execute a move, and again we have caught up to other drivers on track. Eli getting it wrong there through the right-hander. I'm going to be on the outside to this very tricky long left-hander. Really no chance of getting past there, but I'm just trying to maintain the distance to him there through this final set of corners. See if I can't pressure him into a mistake, perhaps into the final corner, which would then compromise his speed heading down the start finish straight. We are able to carry more speed out of that corner, and I am now closing in at a rate of knots, and I'm going to have to take a bit of a gamble. We're coming from slightly far back here, but I've made my intentions known by coming to the inside. I get the car slowed down, I claim the apex, and that finally is the position gain. That was a long battle with Eli there over many laps. We've both managed to get through some pretty big incidents on track, and eventually I'm able to make a clean pass into T1. and capture the position for myself. Really enjoyable battle there though. And as we get onto lap 9, I've closed in on another driver up ahead. That's Raul Lopez. He too has been in the wars. He's nursing a little bit of damage. I didn't know that in the cockpit at the time, but that explains why we've been able to rapidly close in on his rear wing. So again, in the final stages of this race, it's going to be all about just picking my moment to make the pass and then see how much further into the top 10 we can get. We're currently running P9. Remember, I qualified for this race in P14, so I've moved forward 5 spots so far. If I can get up into the top 8, that would represent a very, very good finish. And we've got Peter Zombardi up ahead, who is within striking distance as well. So let's see what we can do. I'm not going to be close enough into the chicane here, but I'm pushing very, very hard, very nearly clipping the barrier on the inside, but I judge it just about right. That allows me to carry more speed than Lopez through the corner. He's really struggling with his car there to get through the right-hander. I'm going to shape to the inside. I'm going to get later on the brakes, keep the car under control. He essentially has backed out of that move. I think he knew that I was carrying more speed into the corner, and I'm up into P8. Unfortunately, I just ran out of time to challenge for any more positions in this race, so we crossed the start-finish line and we come home in 8th position. But wow, racing here at Watkins Glen on iRacing, it's never less than action-packed. It's quite stressful as well to come out of that race with just 2x, with a bump to our iRating and a bump to our safety rating. Has to represent a good result, and the racing itself was very, very enjoyable. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more, and I'll see you on the next one.